Now you can get in and sit on that square box.
Global warming isn't always the easiest thing to see, but Gordon Rogers says if you go out on his boat, he can show you some of its telltale signs.
See that band of gray in the forest up there? That's where the fresh water meets the salt.
A riverkeeper on the Little Satilla River, 75 miles south of Savannah, Rogers says he's seen the ocean's salt water creep further inland and mix with the fresh water, in part due to sea level rise.
When you get up there, you'll see that some of those trees are alive and they're big, beautiful cypress trees, but some of them are dying. It's because of the additional salt. It's becoming more saline.
What makes that saltiness so bad?
Some of the fundamental pillars of our marine economy are built on this proper mix of fresh and salt. And a good example of perhaps a poster child is the blue crab. Blue crab production is down on the average about 60% since about 1970. And it sort of started falling off a cliff. But that's probably not the biggest economic issue. The biggest economic issue, I would venture, is property losses, loss of land. And that occurs chronically, you know, with this slowly creeping sea level rise, inch or so per decade. This precious, beautiful land that's adjacent to this salt marsh that's somewhere between $250,000 and $1 million an acre. You can start looking out to your right, you can just see this boneyard. And if you look way back in the swamp, you can see cypress trees that are greening up this spring. But these ones in the foreground are dying because of the increased salinity.
And that's why you call it the boneyard?
Yeah. And it's beautiful, but it's dying. And this is a change I've seen in my lifetime.
So what do you think this is going to look like in 50 or 100 years?
The model suggests that we're going to lose huge acreages of the Georgia salt marsh and they'll simply become mudflats because they can't keep up with the rise.
Sea level rise is a signature of global warming, which scientists say is a consequence of increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Most of that increase has come from burning fossil fuels, and 40% of this carbon dioxide comes from coal.
Yeah, we live in a real interesting culture here in southeast Georgia. And without getting into all the details of that, there's a lot of people that understand sea level rise, but they treat climate change or global warming as if it were a belief system, you know, as opposed to something that's fact-based.
So do you ever feel like you're a preacher to the unconverted?
Anybody that's willing to listen, I'll talk to them about it. And my favorite place to talk about it's on a boat, fishing, because then you have a captive audience and everybody's happy.